Hello and welcome to my channel. Right now, John Cena is doing an excellent job as a ruthless heel. But by the end of 2025, John Cena will have a babyface turn, and with that, his career will also come to an end. But have you ever wondered who will be the one to end John Cena's career? And which wrestler will defeat John Cena to take the Undisputed Championship from him? In today's video, we will talk about 3 possible wrestlers who could be the ones to dethrone John Cena. Each of these wrestlers has a separate theory about how they could defeat Cena. You can also share your own theories in the comments. Viewers, at number 3 on our list is Drew McIntyre. He is the wrestler who was originally supposed to team up with The Rock instead of John Cena. Initially, the plan was for him to team up with The Rock against Roman Reigns, but due to The Rock's busy schedule, that plan couldn't be executed. But we know that before ending his career, John Cena has to turn babyface once again. So it's possible that Drew McIntyre will play an important role in that story. You might have noticed in the last show that Drew McIntyre said to 𝙒𝙀𝙏𝙀𝙀 that he was about to challenge John Cena. But before he could, Randy Orton stepped up to face John Cena. Now, that wasn't just a casual statement. That's why we can say that WWE might be teasing a future John Cena versus Drew McIntyre feud. Of course, if Randy Orton defeats John Cena first, then Drew McIntyre could challenge Orton afterward. Since Drew McIntyre plans to face John Cena, and because both of them are currently heels, the storyline will have to change, leading to Cena's babyface turn and, ultimately, the end of his career. So, Drew McIntyre stands as a strong candidate at number 3 to dethrone John Cena. At number 2 on our list is Randy Orton. Remember, in the past, whenever Randy Orton and John Cena faced each other, Randy Orton was always the heel and John Cena was the babyface. Their past rivalries were extremely exciting, and even today, their matches are considered some of the best in WWE history. However, after WrestleMania 2025, the situation is entirely different. Now John Cena is a ruthless heel, while Randy Orton is a massively over babyface. WWE now has a golden opportunity to create history by presenting a fierce feud between heel John Cena and babyface Randy Orton in 2025. According to WWE storyline experts, it's believed that WWE may arrange multiple matches between these two. It's possible that at Backlash 2025, Randy Orton might lose to John Cena, but in a future match, Randy Orton could defeat John Cena and become a 15-time world champion. This 15-time championship milestone would make Randy Orton a very strong candidate to retire John Cena. However, there is a question. Since John Cena's career must end as a babyface, will Randy Orton have to turn heel again for that to happen? Tell me your thoughts in the comments. Now, let's move on to our number 1 wrestler, and that is Seth Rollins. But stick around, because there's a big twist and surprise about him that I'll reveal at the end. Don't skip! So, we were talking about Seth Rollins. Viewers, Seth Rollins' heel turn, teaming up with Paul Heyman, betraying Roman Reigns, and forming a new faction with Bron Breakker. All of this is being set up for a long-term storyline, and which Roman Reigns will also play a major role. But since we are focusing on John Cena's story, let's stay on that. You might remember that interview Seth Rollins gave before WrestleMania 41, where he clearly said that he would even sell his soul to The Rock if needed. He said he could do anything for the business, and he's done it before. Then there was Paul Heyman's secret connection to The Rock. Despite being Roman Reigns' wise man, remember that 2-phone storyline? These 2 hints suggest that Paul Heyman will initially use his faction to help John Cena, but later betray him using the same faction to strip him of his championship. This betrayal will lead to John Cena's babyface turn and the end of his career. Now, you might be wondering where Roman Reigns fits into all of this? Viewers, remember whenever Roman Reigns faced Seth Rollins usually won. But will it always be that way? Will Roman Reigns never defeat Seth Rollins? The answer is no. Someday, Roman Reigns will defeat Seth Rollins, and it will be for a titles match. Imagine Seth Rollins defeats John Cena for the title, and then Roman Reigns defeats Seth Rollins, breaking his winning streak and taking the championship. Now, back to John Cena's storyline. I mentioned earlier that there's a twist, and here it is. The twist is that where I mentioned Seth Rollins as the #1 candidate, Bron Breakker could actually be the one. In other words, everywhere I said Seth Rollins, you could replace him with Bron Breakker, except in the part about Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins. You might be wondering why. It's because this Paul Heyman-led faction is actually being built to give Bron Breakker a major push. This entire setup is designed for Bron Breakker. So if WWE plans for Bron Breakker to dethrone John Cena, then they will book Bron Breakker as an incredibly strong champion until the end of 2025, making Bron Breakker a very legitimate contender to defeat him. Viewers, these are the 3, or actually 4, names who are being considered to retire John Cena. Be sure to share your interesting opinions in the comments. Now quickly tell me, who do you think will dethrone John Cena?